Today at Manchester Theatres, I am with the fabulously talented Rob Madge, whose show, My Son is a Queer, but What Can You Do, is coming to home from the 19th of August. Now, Rob made their professional debut aged just 9 as Michael Banks in Mary Poppins in the original West End production. They then went on to perform as the Artful Dodger in Oliver and also as Gavroche in Les Mis, and also in the 25th anniversary concert. So many of you may even have seen Rob without even realising it. As an adult, Rob went on again to perform in Les Mis, in Matilda the Musical, in Bedknobs and Broomsticks, to name just a few musicals. Then, during the first lockdown, Rob posted some videos of their childhood, and the rest, as they say, is history. So thank you so much for joining us today. I have been following this show on socials for such a long time now. I am so excited to be chatting with you. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's like this is your life.
It is a little bit, isn't it?
Like, God, I didn't realise how many precocious cockneys I played as a child.
Well, we all want to do it, don't we? Let's face it. So this show, like we say, you put some videos out on socials of your childhood. Now, when you did that, of these parades and things that you used to create, did you already have in the back of your mind a little idea for this show? Or was it, and you were kind of testing the waters, or was it kind of that there was just such a response that you thought, oh, there's something in this?
The latter, really. I had no preconceived idea that it would ever end up being any kind of show, really. I just wanted to make people laugh in the pandemic, really, because I found the videos funny. And if anything, I just wanted external validation from strangers on the internet that they were funny. And it wasn't just our family that thought they were. But it was only when people would say things such as my dad wouldn't have let me wear wigs and my dad wouldn't have played the beast to my Belle, that I thought maybe there's something in the idea of that, and paying tribute to my family, but also paying tribute to other supportive families of queer kids.
Yeah. So if I've skipped ahead a little bit for anyone watching this who is unsure of what the show is, can you kind of just give us a bit of a synopsis as to what the show is all about?
Yeah, there's a very loose plot. I wouldn't call it Shakespeare. When I was a kid, I turned my house into Disneyland, and it's all documented on VHS. The parade in the hall for Grandma went hideously wrong. Dad got the floats in the wrong order. The office chair broke, which was Ariel's seashells. The bubble gun malfunctioned. The smoke machine went all over the shop. And so the basic premise is, now in 2024, having had some training, I'm going to recreate this Disney parade in my living room, and this time it's going to go well, and I'm going to teach Dad how to do it right. So that's the overall premise. We're recreating turning my house into Disneyland.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Honestly, it's brilliant. And as a child, then, did you have like a favorite that you, like a Disney character or film or musical or anything like that you kind of loved to play along with?
Yeah, it was always the Little Mermaid.
Was it?
It was always Ariel, and I had this padded bra that we nicked from the village panto when my dad played the dame. I used to wear this massive padded bra, and there's these videos of me at the age of about 11 running around the garden dressed as the Little Mermaid, and my dad's behind the camera and he goes, "Cracking knockers, Ariel." I think, wow, what a family.
What a family. I love that. I absolutely love it. And I mean, there's so much brilliance about what you're doing and the fun and the joy. I can, even just chatting to you already, I can see that coming out. And even the title, I mean, it's like a little nod to a lyric from Les Mis.
Yes, thank you. Gosh, the amount of times people ask about that title, and it's always, gosh, that's a scary word, which of course it is for some people, but at the heart of it, it's just a parody of a line in Les Mis, which I was in. So it's a little nod to that.
And do we have like other little Easter eggs sprinkled throughout, or?
Oh, throughout. I'd say come and see it 10 times. You'll notice another little reference sprinkled in somewhere. Every time there's always something.
I love it. So you have written the music for this yourself with Pippa Cleary. So when you are writing music to any musical, I suppose, I'm always interested, like, how do you decide where the song goes, like which part of your life is it that deserves the big number, and like, yeah, how do you decide where it goes?
Oh, that's a great question. No one's ever asked me that before. I think if I'm writing a monologue and I'm starting to feel like I wouldn't say that in real life, I turn it into a lyric. I think you can get away with things in songs that you can't necessarily get away with in speech. There were some moments that before Pippa came on board, I felt it was more of a TED talk, and I thought, well, I'm preaching now. We need a song to say this instead of me just sat in an armchair waffling on about queer pride. And Pippa comes along, and she's a real genius. And I'll play her a reference or two. I mean, I wanted it all to have that Disneyland, but if it were made in your living room sound. I wanted it to sound homemade, as though we were attempting to recreate that massive American dream kind of sound. And she's very, very clever, Pippa Cleary. But yeah, I think most times it's when you feel that a song can say something that words can't.
Yeah, brilliant answer. And this show, so you're used to being in big productions, but then you've got this one, and it's you on stage on your own. It's your story that you've written, it's your actual life, it's your music. So when you first started out, on a scale of maybe feeling completely empowered to squeaky bum time, like where did you sit?
Definitely towards the squeaky bum time end of the spectrum. Oh my God. And I still do. I have the idea at home and I'm typing the script up and I think, oh, this is going to be great. And then when it gets to, this is your beginner's call for the show, please stand in the wings. I think, what the F have I done? Why have I put myself through this? But then you do it and the adrenaline gets you through and the audience response is always great. And then you come off and it's like, wow, did that happen? So for an hour, it's brilliant, but the bits just before, God, it's terrifying.
Yeah, it's still scary. Yeah. But I suppose in some ways, because of the support and the fabulous family that you have, I mean, I imagine you can almost feel them there on stage with you. And
oh yeah.
And I imagine that, like, I've not seen the show yet, but I've followed it a lot. And whilst there's massive representation for queer children growing up, I also imagine it's going to be something really special for families of those children as well, and seeing, do you know what, there is a way, it's just love, it's just unconditional love.
I really hope so. I really do hope so. That's my aim.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm sure that must be there, that must be coming across. But speaking of your family, have you, considering the initial days in the childhood in your hallway, what did any of them ask for a job, like to be a technician or?
They get 12.5% of everything we do. No, I don't think they'd want to touch me with a barge pole, given my status as a child. The way I instructed them, I don't think Dad would ever want to be my stage manager ever again. But I've calmed down now. I'm not as horrible to my stage managers these days as I was to Dad in the hall.
Yeah, well, the family, you're allowed. It's different rules with family. Rules.
Exactly. Yeah. And I always do feel for people when they sign on to My Sons Are Queer, because if they've seen the videos, they'll think, oh my God, we're dealing with a tyrant. But don't worry, anyone out there, any future employers, I'm not 12 anymore.
No. And you are bringing this show to Manchester in the week of Pride. I mean, what a perfect time to come. So I think you start on the Monday and then we've got everything going on that weekend. Was it planned that way, or is it just a beautiful coincidence?
I think it was serendipity, really.
Yeah.
It just that's how the jigsaw puzzle worked itself out. When you get in tour venues together, it's always very dependent on lots of factors, and that by some miracle, I think, ended up being that week, and I'm just thrilled. And it's where we finish as well. It's the end of tour, so to go out in Pride Week in Manchester, and I've always wanted to bring it to Manchester. It's been like number one on my list since I started. I just love how the city embraces queerness. I love the humor of that city. My icons are Victoria Wood, Carolina Hearn. It's where I get all my comedy inspiration from. I love Manchester so much. I can't wait.
We can't wait for you to come either.
Oh.
So after Manchester has finished, what is next for the show? Because I've heard obviously the few sneaky rumours about Broadway for next year. Is that able to go ahead, or is it just logistics and boring stuff like that?
Yeah, lots of logistic things that we're working out. I mean, we're still working really hard on it. So it was supposed to happen in February of this year, but we're pressed pause on it just because we need to get it right. So we're still working on that, and there's lots of other things that are going to be happening. I mean, I'm doing Palladium pantomime in London.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
With Jane McDonald. I mean, come on, absolute dream. And then I'm doing a show called Buyer and Seller at the King's Head Theatre in London, which is another solo show, but I'm playing a role this time that isn't myself for once in my life. So yeah, there's lots of things happening. And then in 2025, I'm doing lots of writing, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Oh, Rob, it has been an absolute pleasure. Honestly, I'm just listening to you talk. I'm like, yeah, I used to do all those Disney things. Yeah, Victoria, because I'm from Bury, where Victoria is from. So massive influence on me. Yeah. So
Wow.
I feel like I cannot wait for you to come to home at Manchester from the 19th of August onwards. It is going to be an absolute joy. My son is a queer, but what can you do? Rob Madge, everybody come along and celebrate. Thank you so much for your time today. It's genuinely been a pleasure.
Likewise, and when I see you at the show, we'll chat about Victoria Wood and Dinner Ladies.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, it's just going to be one of them moments where you do quotes back and forth.
Quotes, just references all the time. Can't wait.
Oh, thank you so much. Take care.
And you.
When I was a kid, I was that gay that put on a Disney parade in my hall for my grandma. I had such high hopes, but unfortunately it went hideously wrong.
Anything is possible when the stage is your living room. Anything is possible with umbrellas, a suitcase and a broom. Use your imagination, there's magic up your sleeve. Yes, anything is possible if you just believe.